Back in 2007, Nike flew me out to Los Angeles to work the first ever Kobe Bryant Skills Academy. Nike brought in the top high school and college players from around the country for an intense 3-day mini camp with the best player in the world. And for any of you that don't follow basketball, let me paint the picture. In 2007, Kobe was the best player in the game.
Kobe, hard to believe. Are you kidding me? Unreal! Are you kidding me? How strong was that? A triple on a fall away in the corner with a shot locked down. Lakers by 3. You have got to be joking. Somebody wake up number 24. He's got 63. The guy is unreal.
Well, an important fact about me is I fell in love with the game of basketball at 4 or 5 years old, and I'm incredibly grateful that 4 decades later, basketball is still a major pillar in my life. Well, having grown up in this basketball bubble, I'd always heard the urban legend of how insanely intense Kobe's individual workouts were. Well, since I was on camp staff, I figured this was my chance. This was my shot, so at my earliest opportunity, I walked up to Kobe and asked if I could watch one of his private workouts. And he was incredibly gracious. And he smiled and he said, "Sure, man, no problem. I'm going tomorrow at 4. And I got a little bit confused because I had just got done looking through the camp schedule. And the camp schedule clearly said that the first workout with the players was the following day at 3:30. And Kobe recognized that confused look on my face and he clarified that with yeah, that's 4 a.m. Well, I wasn't smart enough or quick enough to come up with an excuse on why I couldn't be somewhere at 4 in the morning. At least not an excuse that a guy like Kobe's going to accept. So I basically committed myself to being there. And I figured if I'm going to be there anyway, I may as well try and impress Kobe. I may as well show him how serious of a trainer I was. So I came up with the plan to beat him to the gym. So I set my alarm for 3 a.m. The alarm goes off, I jump up, I get myself together, I hop in a cab, and I head to the gym. Now when I arrive, it's 3:30 in the morning, so it's pitch black outside. And yet the moment I step out of the cab, I can see the gym lights already on. From the parking lot, I could faintly hear a ball bouncing and sneakers squeaking. I walked in the side door, Kobe was already in a full sweat. See, he was going through an intense warm-up before his scheduled workout with his trainer started at 4. Now, out of professional courtesy, I didn't say anything to him. I didn't say anything to his trainer. I just sat down to watch. And for the first 45 minutes, I was shocked. For the first 45 minutes, I watched the best player on the planet do the most basic footwork and offensive moves. Kobe was doing stuff that I had routinely taught to middle school age players. Now don't get it twisted, this is Kobe Bryant. So he was doing everything at an unparalleled level of intensity. And he was doing everything with surgical precision. But the stuff he was doing was incredibly basic. And his whole workout lasted a couple hours, and once again, when it was over, I didn't say anything to him, I didn't say anything to his trainer, I just quietly left. But my curiosity eventually got the best of me, because I had to know. So later that day at camp, I went up to him again and said, "Kobe, I don't understand. You're the best player in the world. Why are you doing such basic drills?" And once again, he was incredibly gracious, and he flashed that $1 million smile, but he said with all seriousness, "Why do you think I'm the best player in the world?" Because I never get bored with the basics. I never get bored with the basics. Kobe Bryant, the best player in the world and someone that has truly mastered his craft, said his secret is that he never gets bored with the basics. And as obvious as that may sound, that was an epiphanal, life-changing moment for me. It's because when I realized that just because something is basic, it doesn't mean that it's easy. See, those are not synonyms, and yet people often use those words interchangeably. Just because something is basic doesn't mean that it's easy. If it was easy, everyone else would be doing it. And as you all know, we live in a world that tells us it's okay to skip steps, that tells us we should always be on the hunt for a hack or a shortcut, that's encouraging us and pushing us to keep chasing what's hot and what's flashy, what's new and what's sexy, and ignore what's basic. But anytime you do that, you're making a grave mistake, because the basics work. They always have and they always will. And the very first step to you improving your performance in any area of your life, it doesn't matter if it's personal or professional, It doesn't matter if it's individual or it's organizational. The very first step is to admit that the basics work. But it's also having the humility to acknowledge that implementing the basics every single day is never, ever going to be easy.